So in this video, we shall study about feeding in neonates, as many of the subscribers have previously asked me to do so. So what are the factors which principally decide as to what and how and when we should start feeding? There are mainly two factors. Gestational age, because it decides the majority of the components of the feeding process. And second is the general well-being, which we commonly refer to as general condition of the baby, because it helps us in deciding the timing of initiation of feeds and also the modality of the feeding technique. So, knowing the chronology of gut maturation is important, especially in a preterm, to understand the stage at which a newborn is whenever he is delivered premature. Like at 10 weeks of gestational age, formation of gut is completed. By 10 to 12 weeks, in utero sucking starts in the neonate. This is non-nutritive sucking. Non-nutritive sucking does not interrupt in breathing, but it is also not guaranteeing feeding to the child because of lack of neurological coordination between suck, swallow, and breathing processes. By 16 weeks of gestational age, the neonate has learned to swallow the amniotic fluid also. But it is only at more than equal to 32 weeks of gestational age that sucking becomes mature. Between 32 to 34 weeks of gestational age, the suck swallow breathe rhythmic coordination develops, and the ratio is usually 1:1:1, but a mature pattern of suck swallow breathing coordination is achieved only once the infant is more than equal to 36 weeks of gestational age, and this is 2:1:1. So when it comes on deciding the primary feeding modality, the first thing we must see whether the child is healthy or whether the neonate is healthy or whether the neonate is sick. So if the neonate is healthy, you can directly start the feed, and the modality of feeding will depend on the gestational age. Like in less than 32 weeks, you start with tube feed. Along with this, you give non-nutritive sucking at the mother's breast. Between 32 to 34 weeks, you may choose to start Katori spoon feeds or breastfeed directly. And for more than 36 weeks of gestational age, you can start breastfeeding directly to the baby, but this is true only if the neonate is healthy. If the neonate is sick, then remember, achieving cardiorespiratory stabilization is the prime concern. Once this has been achieved, then the various feeding techniques can be used as which were being used in the healthy neonates. Infants in whom or neonates in whom cardiorespiratory stabilization cannot be achieved, or who have undergone abdominal surgery. In such neonates, if the feeding is delayed, then one must consider starting total parenteral nutrition. This I have not covered in this video deliberately. In less than 28 weeks of gestational age, IV fluids are to be started irrespective of whether the baby is sick or healthy, and this is because of immature feeding techniques. But remember, the most important thing is that whatever the feeding technique be, breast milk, including colostrum, this is the only milk which is recommended to be given to the neonate. Now, trophic feeding is started in preterm newborns since they are at risk of developing necrotizing enterocolitis. It is also referred to as priming enteral feeds or minimal enteral nutrition. These are small volume enteral feeds only meant to stimulate the maturation of the preterm GI tract. They promote growth of intestinal mucosa, lactase activity, nutrient absorption, and microbial flora. And the benefits include reduced risk of infection, better milk tolerance, shorter hospital stay, and greater postnatal growth. Now, see this. It is started at the rate of 10 to 15 ml per kg per day, divided in equal volume over a 3 to 6 hour schedule. Now, suppose if the weight of the neonate is 1000 grams, that is around 1 kg, and you start feeds at the rate of 12 ml per kg per day. So, it is 12 ml feeds to be given over 3 to 6 hour schedule. So, if you are giving it over a 6 hour schedule, then you have to divide the feed by divide it by 4, so 12 by 4, so 3 ml every 6 hours. but you must simultaneously keep a close watch for feed intolerance. Now, advancement of feeds depends on the clinical stability of the newborn. So, the feeds are initiated when you are planning to initiate the feeds completely. Then, it is started at the rate of 80 ml per kg in neonates with a birth weight less than 1500 grams and 60 ml per kg in neonates with a birth weight more than 1500 grams. Remember, this is different from the trophic feeding because this amount of feed needs to be subtracted from the total fluid requirement or the total IV fluid which you are giving to the neonate, while minimal enteral feeds need not be subtracted from the total fluid which you are giving to the neonate. Minimal enteral feeds are started at 10 to 15 ml per kg, while the proper feeds are started at 80 ml per kg for neonates birth weight less than 1500 and 60 ml per kg for neonates birth weight more than 1500 grams. The feeds are advanced at 15 ml per kg per day. Like suppose if a neonate is 1600 grams and you start the feed at 60 ml per kg on day 1, then on day 2 you have to give 75 ml per kg, day 3 90 ml per kg, day 4 105 ml per kg, so on and so forth, such that by day 7 you achieve approximately 180 ml per kg in neonates with a birth weight less than 1500 grams and 150 ml per kg in neonates with a birth weight more than 1500 grams. Now, what is the weight you should consider for calculating the feed? Remember, the birth weight should be considered until the infant stops the physiological loss of weight, that is by day 7 to day 10. That is, on day 1 you have to use birth weight, on day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, every day you have to use the birth weight for calculation of the feeds. While the same day's weight, which should ideally be taken early morning pre-feed, it should be used for calculation of feeds thereafter. That is, once the infant has started gaining weight, you can use that same day's weight. Advancement of feeds is done as per the following table which is present in your books, and you may start as per this schedule also. In this they have considered the trophic feeds as well. But remember, decreasing the IV fluid volume from the total fluid requirement by subtracting the volume of feeds from it. Human milk fortifiers are added to breast milk in newborns less than 1500 gram birth weight. They are added preferably when they are on full enteral feeds. They are continued up to a gestational age of 37 to 40 weeks and weight of 1800 to 2000 grams. Caloric density may be advanced by 2 to 4 kilocalorie per ounce with human milk based HMF, human milk fortifier, before the infant reaches 100 ml per kg per day. Now, monitoring is very important. There are a few things which you definitely need to monitor when you are feeding a baby. First is the general condition vital signs. Mainly look for bradycardia and cyanosis, which are very ominous signs. Symptoms of vomiting, lethargy, and apnea. Signs of abdominal distension, per-abdominal tenderness, reduced or absent bowel sounds, and increased gastric residuals. So, increased gastric residuals can either be clear or they can be some colored. So if the gastric residuals, that is whatever aspirate you do prior to the feeds, if it is less than 25% of the feed volume which you have given, then you must look for a local cause. For example, change the RT of the change the infant feeding tube. If it is between 25 to 50% of the feed volume, reduce the same amount from the next feed. Like suppose you are giving 2 ml feeds and you have aspirated around 1 ml, then next feed you should give only 1 ml. If the gastric residual volume, however, is more than 50% of the feed volume, even if it is clear, then you must consider withholding 1 to 2 feeds. Use your clinical acumen and restart when you think the baby can tolerate. However, if the gastric residual is bile or blood stained, or vomitus is there, or there are presence of some systemic signs like the infant is lethargic, dull, in that case you must withhold the feeds for 12 to 48 hours and restart only after you are sure that the infant is going to tolerate the feeds properly. Now, as regards growth monitoring, all babies should be weighed daily at the same time till the time of discharge, preferably pre-feeds in the morning. Length and head circumference should be recorded weekly. Both term and preterm babies, they tend to lose weight by about 10% and 15% respectively in the first 7 to 10 days of life, we all know, and they regain their birth weight by 10 to 14 days of life. So the weight gain should be at least 15 to 20 grams per kg per day till a weight of 2 to 2.5 kgs is achieved, and after this the weight gain should be approximately at the rate of 20 to 30 grams per day. So to summarize, the chronology of gut maturation is very important because we must understand the preferred technique of initial feeding and depends on the maturational processes of the feeding technique of the neonate. The initiation depends on two conditions, GA and GC, that is gestational age and general condition of the baby. Advancement, however, depends on BW, that is birth weight of the baby. The milk to be given is breast milk. Fortification may be considered if deemed so. Babies should definitely be monitored for feed intolerance, and baby's growth should be monitored in the long term. So, thank you very much for a patient listening. I hope I could make the topic easy for those who wanted so. Thank you.